guys, before we start the video, I just wanted to let you know that I have a dote. It's at Alicia03, and you guys can use the code D4IFM for $5 off your next order. So be sure to check it out. I'll leave the link in the top part of my description box. So in order to make your intro, the first thing you're going to want to do is go into the app Fonto and create an image. You're going to want to go to a custom size, and you're going to make it 2048 for the width and 175 for the height. Click done, and then we're going to do the colors. So in order to make the background, you're going to want the colors pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. I did just pastel colors. You could always change them later on, or you can make them not a rainbow, just depending on what you want. But that's what I'm doing here, and I'm saving them all to my camera roll. So next, what you're going to want to do is go into the app CuteCut, create a new movie, and you're going to want to use the background color white, and then press done, and it will open your new movie. I'm going to add all the pictures I just made in here as on separate lines, as you guys can see. So I'll click on the plus, the photo option, and then click on the color. I know it's going really fast, but this tutorial would be like 20 minutes long if I didn't do that. Next, what I'm doing is I'm arranging them in rainbow order on the screen, and if you see like the round corner option going off, I'm just turning that off because the last time I used CuteCut Pro I did use the round corner option. But basically what I'm doing is I'm just lining them up and getting rid of rounded corners so that it fits the size of the screen. A trick for doing this is make sure that they don't overlap so that it looks correct, and also what you can do is duplicate any colors, or you can add the colors again at the bottom like that you already had, or if you have extra space. So I just added an extra pink at the bottom. Next, what I did is I made each color the length like about 5 seconds. You guys can make this longer, but I just found that when I was doing this it was easier just to make them 5 seconds long, and then later on just make the video longer by adding a screenshot of this. But you guys can do whatever you want. If you want to make it 10 seconds and line it up perfectly, I just personally didn't want to do that. And then once I have this, I'm going to add a transition by clicking on the image, then clicking wand, and then clicking the plus, and then clicking on the left in option. And I repeated this for each color so that they would all come in from the left side, and that's what I'm doing here. Next, what I'm doing is I'm going to click on the image until it's highlighted yellow, and I'm going to drag it so that they each start about like not even half a second after each other. And what this is going to do is it's going to add this build-in effect for the background. So I'm just doing this. As you guys can see, just follow what I'm doing on the screen and you'll understand. And this is what our background is going to look like when it's all completed. So the next step is to add the circle with the text. So what you're going to want to do is go into the app. You're going to want to go into the app Fonto and create a new image, and I used one with a gray background because we're going to superimpose this later on. But you're going to add the background, then you're going to add a circle, and you're going to make it the size of the square, and you can make it whatever color you want as long as it's not like the same color as one of the background colors, because if you end up doing this, what's going to happen is it's going to blend in. But I added this circle, and then what I did is I added a same circle but in black, and I made it a little bit bigger so that it made an outline on the circle. And so that's what I'm doing right here in order to make it look good. And I'm just moving it to the center and just resizing it so that it looks perfect. Next, what I'm doing is I'm repeating the same process but with a yellow circle with the black outline. So I'm just going to add the two circles, and then I'm going to resize them so that they're like pretty big, but they leave like a little bit of space for the text. And I'm just playing around with the color of the yellow so that it looks right, but here I am just making it resize it. If you guys can see how big it is right now, this is kind of what you're going to want to do. The step after that is we're going to add our text, but first you're going to want to save this image. I left this stuff up though because I wanted to make sure that I was sizing it correctly, but in the middle I put DIY since her tutorial was a DIY and I wanted to make it similar. Then I changed the font to Helvetica Bold. Then I went to the Style button in the menu. I made the text pink color, and then I added a shadow and a stroke. So I clicked on the stroke button, made it black, and made it like size 3, and then I added a shadow by turning the alpha all the way up and the blur all the way down, and here I am just playing around with the color pink that I wanted so that it looked good with the colors, and then just playing around with the settings. And next we're going to add the text that goes around in the circle. So I added in all caps, must have DIYs for back to school, because that's what Lauren had on her image. So that's what I'm just doing here, and I'm using the same font, Helvetica Bold. Once I have that, I'm just making it a little bit smaller so that I can see it. I'm going to go to Style, I'm going to change the text to white, I'm going to add a stroke around it, about 5 clicks, and then I'm going to go to Style, change the alpha all the way up and the blur all the way down to add a shadow. And then you guys can see in this menu there's a curve option, and I'm just going to go to 1.00 with that, and then I'm going to resize it so that it fits in this blue section of the circle thing that we made. So you just have to play around with it so that it looks right, and just make sure that it's even, because if it's not, then it's not going to end up looking right when it spins. So now I'm just moving the circles out, and I'm saving each of the text options as its own image, just so that when I end up using it, it's easier to like set up. Now I'm going into superimpose and just getting rid of all the gray. If you guys don't want to pay for superimpose, there's an app called Eraser, and if you want a tutorial more in depth on using superimpose, I just uploaded a tutorial how to make PNGs with Alicia Marie on the thumbnail. Now what we're going to do is go back into CuteCut, and we're going to save the video that we just made, and then we're going to create a new movie once this is saved. So the new movie, you're just going to want to do the same settings with the same white colored background, and you're going to add the video from your camera roll. Then, like I said before, I added a screenshot of this, so I went in my camera roll, played the video, and screenshotted it where it was like complete, just so that it would line up and I can make it as long as I wanted. So I'm adding that in right about now. Now what I'm doing is I'm just making it a little longer and lining it up so that it fits with my screen, and this is going to be the full background for a video. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my photos, and here I am just adding the circles and whatever other text that I made by just clicking on it, and it will go right into the video. And the first thing we're going to work on is the circles. So you're going to want to click on your circle, and this is going to make it highlighted, and you're going to make it about the length of your clip. And I just moved the other options over right now because I didn't want them in the way while I was editing, but I just arranged it in the middle where I wanted it to be. And then what I did is I added a transition by going to the wand, the plus button, and then up in, so that it comes in like this. And then what I did is I repeated this for the text that says DIY, so I made it the length of the clip approximately, or the length of the background image. Then what I did is I just rearranged it on the screen so that it was in the middle, and then I went to the magic wand tool on the bottom bar. When you click on the image, I went to the plus button, and then I added the up in transition. Another one you guys can do is the grow transition, but I know this isn't the exact one Lauren does. And then I just moved it over a little bit so that it started a little bit later than the circle. So the next thing you're going to want to do is add these circle black and white text that we made. And so I'm just fixing something I messed up. Anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to add the same up-in transition that we did before, but what you're also going to add is a custom transition, and this is what we're going to end up using to make the text rotate in a circle. So you're going to go to the magic wand, the plus, press custom transition, and then I use the bottom blue triangle to make it almost as long as the clip, and then I rotated it about twice. I wouldn't do it more. I would do it only once though, because doing it twice made it go a little too fast and it looked pretty bad, but if you do it once, it will look very pretty. So this is pretty much what it looked like, and then here I'm just playing around with all the settings so that it looks good. So here is the final product.
Love is